So I said, you know what? Let's quit working with that one and let's try the Amazon web service version. And let me share my screen and I'll show you guys the progress of that. All right. Here's the progress of that. Um, Actually, I'm going to share the entire screen so that you guys can see all of the exciting stuff that's been happening with this. Here we go. Okay, so currently, this is debugging because why? Everything was working great until what time did this crap out on me? 12:24. Where I am right now, it's 1:02. So 30 minutes ago, it decided it didn't want to work anymore. Everything was working fine, but I'll tell you some of the discoveries. I was using Anthropic, had problems with the key, gave it a new key, API key, had problems with that. Okay, let's use OpenAI. Used OpenAI, it was working great. And then at some point, it was like, you've maxed out. And I was like, man, I haven't even been using this that much. There's no way it got maxed out. Went into the account, everything looked good. I had prepaid for credits and everything like that. So I was like, fine, let's try Kimmy. The people who are using OpenClaw a lot, especially initially, were like, hey, Kimmy, I guess it was 2.0, 2.1 at the time, but now it's 2.5. They're like, Kimmy's cheap, it's great, it's powerful, awesome. I can never get my API key to get accepted by OpenClaw. Tried it again, didn't work. Okay, fine. Let's use Gemini. And look, I'm not a tech whiz, but I've been making a living off of using a computer for 25 years. So it's not like I don't know my way around a computer, or, like anything like that. It's not like I'm pushing the wrong button. And I'm supported by both Claude and Perplexity in this stuff. So even if I don't know something, my buddies know. Let's put it that way, right? So I said, okay, let's use Gemini. So I loaded up Gemini, but by default, it was giving me 2.5 Flash, maybe. I thought, okay, just for the stuff we're doing initially, that's fine. But I was trying to get it to debug some stuff, and 2.5 could not have sucked harder. Okay, and I'll just kind of give you an example of what this was. Now, again, this is like I've built 5 of these. This is not something that. So I kept asking it, okay, so work with me, and it kept doing this. It set it up in this Docker environment. Okay, and it kept not giving me the correct terms. Now, again, the model that was powering this was Gemini Flash 2.5. Couldn't debug its way out of a paper bag. And so I said, okay, fine, let's update to a more powerful Gemini model. I went into Perplexity, and I told Perplexity I'm using Gemini as my AI brain for my OpenClaw bot. One of the best practice for which model I should use for different activities, right? So it's got suggested Gemini Flash as the default workhorse. Great, that's what I'm already doing. 2.5. Then it suggested turn on Gemini Pro when an agent hits a wall. Well, my agent hit complex debugging. I don't even think this was complex debugging. But so I said, okay, great. So I took this information that basically said, like, these are the rules for when you'd want to use the different models within Gemini. I took it into my Claw. And at some point down here, I gave it that information. It's like, great, let's set this up. Let me go to the bottom. Okay. Where was it? I'm just showing you guys, okay? And 2.5 loved just being the whipping boy. I'm telling you, it was like every time I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I know you've told me this. I'm sorry that I did it again. It's just like, man, just like not. And I did all the stuff. It's got a memory.md file. It's got all that stuff. I'm not trying to like just go basic setup. It kept having me give it the JSON code. Here we go. I said, hey, I got this feedback from Perplexity on how to use the Gemini models. Use this. It said, hey, great, let's set that. you're right. My current model is indeed suited for chats, tool orchestration, summaries, light research, routing. However, the current GWS integration issue, which was essentially getting it to set up the Google access so it could get access to my calendar, and said, hey, given that, the Gemini 3.1 Pro preview is exactly what we need. So here's the plan. Say, gave me the plan to just add, essentially add another model and add a decision, environment to where, if it's doing this, use 3.1. If it's not doing that, use 2.5. So had me do that. I fed it back the JSON. It asked me to basically just like show me the configuration. And all this is happening, like it's giving me the command. I'm going into my server over here. I'm adding the command. I'm hitting enter. It's doing its thing, and then I'm copying and pasting, which you guys have seen me do for 2.5 weeks now, copying and pasting the output and providing it back to the claw to debug. So it did that. It's like, okay, great. Look, it kept doing this. I kind of, dressed it down early and was like, dude, quit doing this. And every time now it says, you're absolutely right, Doc. Even though I didn't say any like, you're sucking right now, fix yourself. It just kept going back to this. You're absolutely right, Doc. I apologize, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So it said, please run the following command from your terminal right here. After this command successfully executes, the gateway will restart. We'll have the new models, and then we could go from there. So I ran that, and then I gave it the output. And then it decided to start doing this just out of the blue. Everything was fine. Everything was fine. And it just keeps coming. Let's see. Hi, Ash. Watch. It's typing here. What you got for me, Ash? Nothing. Not even a reply. Oh, here we go. Same thing. So took this back into to my AWS server, which is where this is loaded. We ran it into the I told it, look, I'm using my new OpenClaw. I'm using my OpenClaw, but getting this error. And now we've been debugging, and it is been debugging this thing probably still with 2.5, which Gemini 2.5 for debugging. If you didn't know it before, it sucks at debugging this code. So thought I was going to be able to say, guys, after all that hard work, here we are. It's working. And listen, I want to preface what I'm about to say with one thing. This that you've seen over the past 2 weeks was not part of a sales process. However, because of my frustrations, I think I mentioned it last time, we're going to have Steve Brodson and me are going to spend Saturday, April 11th, going from start to finish. The reason we chose Steve was because Steve's position on the security side of OpenClaw and that sort of thing. Steve's got models running successfully, those sorts of things. So this experiment of building in public has been probably not very exciting for you guys, and has been extremely frustrating for me. Not because of I'm not able to show you the magic, but because I have not been able to get it working. This is updated to Claw 3.28, which was 2 days ago, the latest update. Everything. This is working in a server that's got plenty of memory. This is all that jazz. So all that to say, so Alex, what I'm working on is setting up a my one OpenClaw instance. That the ideal outcome from this would be operating as a chief of staff, evaluating multiple communication lines between me, chief AI officers, and our clients through Slack, through Fathom call transcripts, through emails in our Google Workspace, and through our Google Calendar and ClickUp, right? And maybe even another tool. All basic stuff, right? And I had it working with previous versions of OpenClaw, but those previous versions of OpenClaw were just wide open, begging to get exploited by a 14-year-old basic hacker, because it was so easy to do that with OpenClaw. So that's what you're witnessing, Alex, is the what has been my experience of creating OpenClaw agents to run. And if you didn't catch that at the beginning, a Mac Mini, older, I say older, maybe a 4-year-old MacBook Pro, plenty of juice to be able to run one, a DigitalOcean remote server, and an AWS remote server. So I've tried it in all 4 of those environments. The one on my Mac Mini is working fine, but it's also a previous version that's wide open, so I don't even turn that one on right now. So what we've done over the past 2.5 weeks was, and it was always advertised as this is going to be me stumbling through this process as somebody who's a non-technical business professional, not a novice, not a dummy, but just somebody who's not like, I don't know what, I don't do a lot of command line coding on my own. I copy and paste stuff from Claude Code. I copy and paste stuff from, so this isn't, I'm not like an expert coder, but I'm also no dummy when it comes to using these tools and leveraging the tools to do the heavy lifting and do what they're good at. All that to say, it was working, as I mentioned, 30 minutes ago until I asked it to update and add a version of Gemini as the brain of 3.1 because 2.5 was horribly inefficient and inept at debugging some very basic code to the point to where every single time it says, I sincerely apologize for the continued struggle and my persistent errors. Like it knows it's not doing a good job. And it tells me that every time. So part of this, I know that the Chief AI Officer community needs to know about agents. I know that we've got individuals in the Chief AI Officer community who are successfully running these agents and doing a great job at it, not only for themselves, but for clients. So at this point, I am not going to continue this process. I'm just going to enlist the aid of an expert, one of our experts in our community, which, as I mentioned, was Steve Bronson. He's a Chief AI Officer candidate, has completed our training. He's doing his capstone project on, I think, cybersecurity in the agentic environment, all that jazz. So Steve is going to be hosting, it's a paid event. I think we're going to charge $1,000 for the day, but I don't know where else you're going to get this stuff unless you want to spend 2.5 weeks like I did being frustrated with OpenClaw installs. But that'll be the 11th of April. It'll be we're calling it an all-day thing. It'll be as long as it takes to go from what is OpenClaw to, wow, my agent is up and running, it's working, it's safely configured, and it's having an impact on my life, my business, my productivity, whatever those things are. So this experiment of the AI Builders Lab is drawing to a close. If I had gotten it to work, maybe we'd try some different stuff. But for whatever reason, the universe is like, oh, hell no. No. And like I said, I got it to work in earlier versions of OpenClaw, but also those earlier versions are like there's well-known and easily accessed exploits for security and all that sort of thing. Maybe you've seen the anecdotal stories that are out there on Twitter or LinkedIn about people. I set up OpenClaw and it destroyed my world or whatever, right? So with that being the case, let me see. I'm happy to answer any questions about the experience that I've had with this and all that jazz. Now my mouse, where are you, mouse? There we go. I don't know that I've got anything to teach you other than frustration at this point. So now we've got a couple of comments. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it does. It encourages you to go and experiment. And listen, just because my experience was like this, the April 11th event will be recorded and available. Yes, I would encourage you to be there live just so that you can say, hey, wait a minute. I don't expect, like 50 people in the room. I think it's probably going to be a pretty intimate thing. I would imagine maybe 20 or less, maybe 10 or less. So it will be a very hackathon-y kind of experience for you. And we'll have individuals, and I don't expect that go to work, Phil, for sure. I don't expect that Steve will be leading the call. It will be the only person on there who knows a thing or two about OpenClaw. He just happens to be the person that he's been doing a lot of, good trainings in the community and that sort of thing. Well, Joel, I'm glad to hear that. Uh, if you haven't tried building one of these, toy from our community, she's like, oh, I got it up and running, blah, blah, blah. And then, the first kind of trouble in paradise I heard from Toy was she's like, oops, it charged me $500. And tokens in a very short period of time. And then, 2 weeks later, she's like, hey, I had to kill that agent. So Alex, the information, I don't know if you're a member of the Chief AI Officer community. If you're not, Alex from our team, if you could put a link in the thread for anybody in here who's not currently a member of the Chief AI Officer community. Okay, great. So we're going to be putting the information about the event in the event calendar. It may already be in there. I've been requesting that for a couple days now. So hopefully our team has gotten caught up and added that. If not, it should be there imminently. So Phil, when I get an error message, do I try to share the logs with Claude to get another perspective? Sometimes, yes. With this one, though, I've been mainly working with Perplexity, and most of the time, I'm running Opus 4.6 on the debug stuff. So you can see in the Perplexity browser, if you use the assistant, you get the option to use multiple models here. And when I'm doing the debug, normally I'm on Claude Opus 4.6. Not necessarily the same thing, but I'm powering an agent to do the debug with the brain of Claude Opus 4.6. Okay, awesome. So Alex, our call moderator, says it's not there yet, but I dropped the event in the chat for everyone. And Alex, while we're still on here, if you don't mind reaching out to our community management team and asking them if they have an ETA on when that information will be added to the event calendar. Thank you so much. But I fully expect, if you guys haven't, I know most recognize several faces here. If you haven't seen Steve Brodson teach any of the classes that he's done in the community, Steve knows this stuff. So do many others in our Chief AI Officer community, of course. But on this stuff, Steve has kind of taken picked up the flag and is carrying it for the rest of the community on sharing the training and things like that. What channel did I select? Sherry, come off mute and tell me what you mean.
Yeah, I'm trying to install, and it's asking me to select a channel. That's where you select like WhatsApp or Telegram. Or
Telegram is the one that I chose. I already had a Telegram account. Yeah, I'm comfortable with it. I tried using it with iMessage, and the iMessage was buggy for me. WhatsApp's probably great. I just don't. It's just not it's not an app that I use a lot. But I don't think any of this has anything to do with the channel that I chose. I think it's got to do with the configuration. And look, in all fairness, maybe I was trying to do too much, and it would work fine, and then let's do this. It would work fine, and I'm not trying to get it to do a bunch of wild stuff. Hey, can you read my Fathom transcripts? Sure. I need an API key. Okay, no problem. Boom, boom. You got it? Great. Can you access my Slack? Sure. We need to set up a Slack app. Okay, give me the instructions and I'll go do that. All that stuff was working fine, but then at some point you do something and it breaks it. Did I try getting Claude Code to fix it on its own, not by asking Claude in chat, by allowing it to access OpenClaw via Playwright terminal and debug directly? No, I haven't. So let's see here. Hey guys, I never, just so anybody who's like, this guy's pretty dumb. Yeah, I never claimed to be an expert at this stuff. I was just gonna kind of walk people through. Hey, here's what I'm doing. If you want to follow along and do it with me, but I'm glad you didn't. So let's see what we've got here. You know what I'm gonna do? Okay, this thing is still trying to debug, and it's been cooking for a while. So let's see here. What was that post? Let me do this. I'm going to see if I can copy that comment. Where are we? Okay. And throw that in the mix. And look at me doing it the hard way, right? Maybe I should have just. Let's see what old Claude Code can do for me here. Okay, Claude. Hey, Claude, I've been trying to set up a OpenClaw, configure it so it could be a chief of staff for my company. I have it hosted on an Amazon server, AWS, and it was working fine, but now it's not. The main channel that I'm communicating with this is by way of Telegram, but if you need access to the command line in my AWS server to kind of debug this, that would be great. And somebody in my community just posted this comment to me. Tell me what you think and if you can help me with this. Okay. Come Super Whisper to the rescue. Let's see, I'm going to paste that in there.
Hey, Chris, Phil here. It also helps
Hey,
to
Phil.
put a snapshot of the error logs.
Okay.
It'll debug it.
Let's see here. Okay, we're at 4.6. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Turn that off. Turn that off. And let's see what old Claude Code comes up with. So, error log would be in Telegram or in the terminal itself?
In the terminal itself.
Okay. So at this point, I'm just going to tell it to stop. And just what? Just do like, just highlight and copy paste?
Yep.
Okay. What the hell?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I guess like it just gave up.
Mm.
Let's just look, this is going to be a huge endorsement for Claude. Right? I'm just going to throw like, blah. All right, Claude, do the thing, buddy. Okay, so for those of you who have made this suggestion on leveraging the Claude environment, kind of walk everybody else on the call through what that looks like by using Claude Code. And Maya, you introduced the opportunity to leverage Playwright and debug directly. So I'd love to hear more about that because I haven't done it, and it sounds like something I should have. If you'd like to come off mute and share, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. So Playwright basically you allow it to take control of your browser, and then you ask it to to perform a task, and then it will go into the browser and kind of try to do whatever you ask it to. In this case, though, Playwright might get like a little bit buggy and slow. So what we're trying to do here is debug. Like we have the error logs. Then I would get it probably to do it through the terminal instead.
Okay.
Running OpenClaw in the terminal and then trying to get a Cloud Code to debug via terminal instead.
Okay, so the other day I had it set up to where I used the, I was using the, where are you? The Claude Code. I mean the Claude browser extension here, right? Can Claude debug on the screen using this extension?
It can. It's only that it gets a little bit slow with extension.
Okay.
So I usually use Cloud Code on my terminal directly, and then I would need to like install it the package so you allow it to use the browser.
Okay. I think I might have Claude Code installed on this server, and if I do, I'm going to hand you the microphone. We'll let you help me here. And it's not just helping me, it's like letting others see, like, and again, folks, I was like, hey, I'm just a regular business user. So it's going to see. So if I've got Claude Code installed on this server, it should be able to take over and do this for me.
In your computer, I think, local.
I'd have to use it local. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here's what's interesting is this is not happening my OpenClaw is not happening locally. It's happening, on that AWS server. So with terminal, with like the local terminal, you're saying I can have Claude Code locally debug on another server that's remote.
I think so. So, and the way I have it, so my OpenClaw it's in a virtual server, so it's in Contabo, and I wasn't able to install it and make it work. So I went directly into Cloud Code in my terminal, and I say like, hey, please help me out. I'm getting very, very frustrated, and I just can make it work. This is my server. This is the issue that I'm running into. And then I don't know, it started doing things directly. It logged
Yeah.
into the server and it debugged directly from there. So it was Cloud Code from the terminal.
I see. Okay. So rather than have you guys watch me stumble through all that, I'm going to do that shamefully off screen somewhere so that nobody can see how dumb I am. But this is interesting because my approach was I was using the desktop version of Claude Code to review and make suggestions on fixes. I was taking those, like for instance, let's go take a look at. We try to do this with DigitalOcean, and what I would have it do is once it would give me the solution, I was giving the information over to the Comet browser and having the browser go into the terminal and do whatever on the remote server and do the thing. So this is great. Unfortunately, I think I've hit my limit on frustrations for a 24-hour period because this started probably about this time yesterday. Everything was going great. So guys, what we're going to do is I'm going to admit defeat at this moment, but I'm not done. It's the battle, but not the war, right? They won the battle. The tech gremlins. I'm going to continue to work on this probably a little bit on my own. But I also know that I've got an ace in the hole, and that is that session with Steve. Now, listen, we've done plenty of trainings, I think, inside the community where you can go and rewatch these. If you're not a member of the community and you'd like to join the Chief Apps community where all these like tons and tons and tons of trainings are included in your membership, just post that in the comment, and our moderator team will add a link for you to go and join. But we've done a lot of trainings inside the community on this, how to set up correctly, what are the risks, those sorts of things. Yeah, I think I've been humiliated enough for one day in front of my peers.
Chris, I would seriously recommend that you also try Perplexity Computer. I don't know how much you've tried it, but
I have, but not for this. I used it a lot actually, but I haven't used it for this. Tell me more.
Yeah, Perplexity Computer is so powerful. I mean, I just got a full-on project with Perplexity Computer on Azure, and it was able to guide me through like all the development I needed to do on Azure infrastructure and connect with the APIs. Like really, just you can go like really stupid and just follow what it's telling you to do. It was really so. I was even surprised that. I mean, I love Claude Code. Don't get me wrong. Claude Cowork and Claude Code are really powerful, but Perplexity is really giving it a stiff competition. If you can manage the tokens, because the context keeps getting bigger and bigger, so you want to like keep switching to a different chat window. Otherwise, you can end up paying a lot for Perplexity, but it's so powerful and it's very secure.
Yeah. Okay. That's helpful. Is anybody, I guess the same function could be completed by Manus to some degree as well? Anybody tried Manus on this?
Yeah, I mean, I did a whole bunch of MIT's data science type of assignments in Manus. It was so accurate. I was blown away that MIT level assignments, 100%
Yeah,
accuracy. Manus can do. I mean, I didn't see your full session today.
yeah,
I just saw last 10 minutes of you struggling. But
sure.
what you were struggling with, I think between Manus and Perplexity, they do a really bang up job.
This is fantastic. Well, thank you for
Mm.
that feedback. And I think like the takeaway for me from this effort is that, you know, like I know AI, and here I am over here trying to use a very a discrete tool stack when the reality is I've got access to Perplexity Computer. I've got access to Manus. I've got access to Claude Code, but I did not think to. I just like I dug in, and I don't know. Maybe there's a lesson to be learned here. But if you're experiencing some frustrations, maybe go outside of the standard stack that you're normally using, and go say, "Hey, what can computer do here? What can you know command line Claude do that maybe the desktop Claude cannot do?"
Mhm.
So, um, so with that being the case, uh, guys, I think I'm gonna say as I already said, I'm gonna admit defeat for today, and I don't know that we're gonna continue to do these. Here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna do that class with um, Steve on the 11th. After that, I may start doing these again, building cool stuff. But the fact that I can't even get the basics to work right now, um, I'm not going to torture anybody here with that. And I appreciate the feedback from people saying, "Hey, this is watching you struggle has been helpful." I'm glad my suffering could be contribute to your enjoyment. However, um, and I hope that this didn't discourage anyone from attempting this stuff, because I can tell you that despite the challenges that you've witnessed and that I've experienced even off camera, the experience of getting outside of my comfort zone and doing this uh, is transferable to anything that you're going to be doing in an AI setting, right? There's going to be things where you're like, this doesn't work that well, those sorts of things. But by perhaps next time trying Perplexity Computer, and Jay, do you have to have the Max plan to access Computer, or have they opened it up to Pro yet? Do you know?
Yeah, Max Plan does allow, if I remember
Okay.
correctly, yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So for some of you, it may be off the table. The Max plans, like all the models and tools seem to have a 20 and a 200 right level version, and Computer is currently available with their $200 a month plan. I get enough value out of Perplexity and the browser and Computer that it's worth it to me. But it may not be that case for you. So in that, maybe you try Manus, or try Claude Code Desktop, or try Claude Code Terminal, those sorts of things. So yeah. So guys, how do you? I guess experimentation, right? We don't see all the attempts that were failures. All we see is the person receiving the Nobel Prize, but we don't see the 30 years of failed experiments that they had to get to before they had that breakthrough. Well, you guys got to witness that. So with that, I'm going to say I've had enough tapping out. Referee, I give in, but I will be probably picking this back up after I get a little more training from Steve on the 11th. And again, if you are interested in that, we will have information about that in the community events calendar. That's going to be the 11th of April. And for those that can't make it, we will be recording it. Obviously, you're not going to have the interaction if you watch the recording, but I would suspect that in the right hands, it's going to be a lot easier than it's been trying to watch me go through this. I have done a lot of stuff with a lot of different AI tools. I've built plenty of apps with Claude Code that we're using in production in our business that our clients now use, like plenty of that stuff. I did not expect the level of consternation that I've experienced from this. And I'm not shit talking OpenClaw. You can get it to work. I bet it does some amazing things. Send me a postcard, because that's not my experience at this point. But after the 11th, perhaps. So again, thanks everybody for again suffering through this with me. I'll see you in the Chief AI Officer community. Manaya, thank you so much for your attempt to help me. I think that was great advice. Jay, same thing. Phil, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
And again, I don't want anybody to be discouraged that this is like, oh, if Chris couldn't make it work, I can't make it work. I'm just like you, right? So maybe just don't try to be too ambitious, as ambitious as I was.
Well,
So
can I mention something, Chris? I didn't say
sure.
the starting of it, but I mean, I've been through the same hole many times, same journey.
Okay.
I would say one lesson I learned was to go back and do planning from very beginning. Spend a lot of time in planning.
Yes.
And get all the entire plan of the architecture ready before I go to Cloud Code.
Yeah. And I hear that from everybody who's having success with anything where they're building, they start with planning.
Yeah.
They say the models they get better results if they have it planned first. So maybe I should listen to that advice.
And they start small,
Alex,
right? It's a block by block. That's what it is.
Yes. Great advice. Alex, you have a...
Yes, I want to also use this opportunity to shamelessly plug the new offering that we just launched last Friday, but it's the AI challenges. So we had an amazing first round. So like the AI challenges workshop is for anyone who is at some sort of stalling point. Please come. And then everyone else can be there to support. So really what happened today was very similar to what we saw in our first, it was a small group, but it was a very successful first time because people were able to unabashedly say where they were stuck, and then people were able to support each other because everyone in this community comes from a different entry point, a different lens, a different industry, a different set of skills. And so something very, very similar to what we saw is like the purpose of that. And I just wanted to plug that as well.
And Alex, there's no charge to attend that, right? It's like part of the membership in the community.
Yep, it's part of the community. Originally, the idea was to have somebody contact Katie so that the person who's presenting the challenge could kind of be like that initial presenter. But in lieu of doing that, we really just kind of did a round robin. I facilitated a round robin where I said, what's your industry currently? What are you working on, and what's a challenge you have? And it really seamlessly, everybody's challenges, the other people in the room were there to support those challenges. So someone needed information around marketing and distribution, and there was a marketer, and so it was
very cool.
Very similar to what just happened today, because you just, with such an incredible group of people, as so many of you are, all the answers are kind of already in the expertise in the room as well. So highly recommend. I think we are trying to find the right time slot for it, but it was a very rewarding session for everyone involved, and it just also kind of facilitates the continued reciprocal feeling of support that this community also has for one another, because these are opportunities where you never know what someone else can kind of do to help support you in your journey.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and it's one of the things I've heard about this community from the very beginning is people, I don't have anything to do with it. I mean, I show up, I read the stuff, but I'm not driving that community. It's you guys, and what I hear from everybody I can't believe how helpful everybody was in the community. So if you're getting stuck on anything, please, we've got so many calls, you can jump on those calls and hey, I'm stuck. And it wouldn't surprise me if someone said, hey, what's your email? I'll send you a calendar invite. I'll jump on and show you how to do this stuff. So anyway, take advantage of all the resources that we've got in the community. We got a lot of talent in there. I mean, just as witnessed by the advice that I've gotten on this call, we've got a lot of talent that's out there able to support. So, okay, well, I'm going to go hit the gym and think about my life choices here. Yeah. So, but thank you everybody for joining me and at least participating in this experiment. We'll have these kind of fun things happening from time to time. And again, Manaya and Phil, thank you so much for pitching in your expertise and attempting to help me be less frustrated with this stuff. But I will see you guys in the community. And again, thank you so much for being here on the call and just being a part of the cool stuff that we're doing at Chief AI Officer. See you, everybody.
Thank you, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank
Thank you,
guys.
everybody else.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Alex.
Yeah, take care, guys. Be good to yourselves and each other.